Welcome to Apex Esports League. I'm JT. Tonight we are live on iRacing for the Pagnian Imports Kia Optima Championship. Tonight is round 2 and that sees us at Okayama International Circuit. That is the full course variation. Taking a look at the session for Okayama, there's 10 minutes of practice. Weather conditions start out as clear. There's 10 minutes qualifying and the race is 40 minutes. And then the cars capped at 47%. We're going to be seeing the cars have to take a pit stop to be able to finish out the race. And looking at the standings after round 1, we have Cameron Veacock leading the championship with 155 points. And that comes after taking a clean sweep to start out the championship at round 1 for Charlotte Motor Speedway, where he's secured the pole position, the race victory and the fastest lap bonus points as well. And we'll take a look at the track. Track length is, get that back up, is 3.65 kilometers. There is 11 turns in this variation and there's a load of Kia Optimas out there already. So we're going to jump over trackside now. See how drivers are going in practice. And we'll be having co-commentator Ryan with us in the commentary box, so we'll cross over and get Ryan on. Welcome back again, Ryan.
G'day mate, how you going? Thanks for having me again.
Pretty good, glad to have you alongside.
Yeah, it's always a bit of fun talking with you.
It is, it's always much better than talking to myself like usual, so pleasure to bounce back with you. And it looks like we're going to be having another exciting round tonight, so we've got 24 drivers loading in.
Yeah, it looks like Okayama's a really good track. It's got a nice combination of slow and fast corners, so you got a heap of drivers that some are better and fast, some are better than slow. So there's definitely going to be a balancing performance in this race here, but there's also going to be a lot of crashing, I reckon.
Yes, it's going to be rather tight. Hopefully no lap 1 carnage calling in a safety car like last week. But when that does happen, it always makes things a little bit more interesting.
I was going to say, you say hopefully, but I'm sort of hoping for it.
Definitely. I think all our newer drivers that have crossed over were rather enjoying the whole safety car feature, being not a regular thing. I think they've been probably itching to finally see one come on board.
Oh, 100%. The safety car procedure in game's a little bit how you going. So we covered it last week. You get a bit of a disadvantage with having to follow the safety car and not being allowed to pit as soon as it's come out. So you got to follow it around for a lap before everyone's allowed to pit. So depending on your strategy, it can come as a disadvantage. But other than that, like if you've had a dust up and done a quick repair and you've got more fuel on, then it's on your side. So it all really depends on how far during the race it is. But hopefully it spices it up and we get one late race as well.
Yeah, it's going to definitely shake things up and make or break a race. And even some of the drivers hoping for that extra one at the end of last week, just to try and allow for their strategies to come more in play.
Yeah, 100%. You saw a lot of similar strategy yesterday. I mean, not yesterday, last week, in terms of people who didn't crash. The ones who did crash right at the start, they obviously had to take it out a little bit longer in the stint, but everyone seemed to be pitting around the same time last week, so hopefully we'll see a bit of differentiation in pitch strategies to spice it up a little bit on the rejoin.
Yeah, that's it. Looks like we've got some debuts tonight. We've got Duncan McCrosty.
It's a new name. I haven't heard of that one before.
No, brand new. We also have Andrew Ritchie, currently parked up in his pit box. Seeing 25 loading in at the moment. So it's going to be nice and full for Okayama.
Oh, this is going to be fun to watch. Heaps of people put in a time so far. There's only a few that haven't yet.
Yeah, 17 drivers getting in a time. Quickest time out there, 1:36.
The ones who haven't put a time in yet are most of the front runners. Cameron Veacock's put in his good timing, so we'll see if that improves across the race. But so far, most of the guys that you see that are up to front runners haven't actually put a time in for practice just yet. So off tracks don't really invalidate your lap time in practice. They do in qualifying, but not in practice. So if you have an off track during practice, it'll still show up on the board. So they might still be on their out lap or their first flying lap.
That could be the case. And even seeing some of our newcomers to cross over, actually getting some pretty good times. We've got Dan Bartosh with a 136.9, Vcock setting in a 136.6, and it seems to be the quicker end of the lap times from what the guys were doing before the actual session tonight. So we may see a little bit of a mix-up in these front runners, which would be exciting.
Did you say Bartosh was one of your Project Cars boys?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was down the back end of the field in the last one, which I noticed, but I did a bit of research this time to see how everyone went and looked at all their stats. He joined up in 2022. I think he was one of the August ones, or July or August, so he's fresh on iRacing. He's done 10 official races so far. He hasn't got any wins yet. His average start at the moment is 12, and his average finish is about 11.
So doing well to be straight up into it. Look at all these cars scrambling out on the track. It is peak hours, they're trying to get out of pit lane. And hey, Jurassic Jam, thanks for jumping on the stream. And all 25 drivers loaded in. They're not mucking around with wasting that qualifying time with only 10 minutes on the clock to get that lap in.
Yeah, they definitely can't waste any time on these. We saw last week it looked like it took a fair few laps to warm up all the tyres to get the really good pace out of them. So everyone's got to be as quick as they can and warm up as quick as they can so they can get all the really good lap times in at the end of the session. So that's why you see everyone go straight out. They're not giving any inch to traffic at the moment. They're all just trying to get on with their laps so they can warm everything up and get on with it. See a lot of differential and skill too, so if you're stuck behind someone, you got to try and get past them as quick as you can too. Because
try and time it nicely and get a nice slipstream, but pick the wrong car, you could definitely be held up and cost you a second or two.
Yeah, 100%. I've seen a couple of times in races where there have been, I don't want to call them slow, but not as quick as the fast guys. And like some people behind them, they're front runners. They come in, give a little bit of a gap so they can get a run, but they're still quicker in pace than the guys in front of them, so they can't actually get a decent lap time in a 10-minute session. You don't see it so much with the lower number in the field, I should say, but in the high numbered field where everyone wants to jump in and have a crack, you see a lot of traffic, so a lot of front runners might get a bit frustrated if they can't get a lap time in.
Got Mark Cochran keeping with his theme of a brand new livery every race, and always in the food thing. We've got Captain Crunch Car. Always enjoy just seeing what he's done for us each week. Oh, and he's got a big broad slide. He saves the car.
Yeah, good. I love watching that.
Nothing like a front-wheel drive slide.
Doesn't look like anyone's set a lap time just yet, but there are people that have almost finished their first flying lap. We'll have a look at how that turns out on the live timing board. Seeing heaps of slides going on at the moment.
Yeah, might be a little bit cool still. Trying to push those tyres.
Oh, Daniel Minro, he's just slid off the road. He's gone into the tyre barriers.
Oh no, having to bring that car back in.
So odds are he might not get a very decent time in this session. Might have just stuffed his run that one. I think that was right at the end of that lap too.
Yeah, very unfortunate timing.
Cameron Beacock's just put the first time up. It's a 1:37.1.
Oh, a bit of contact going on. Oliver Patterson's just had a spin. He's congested traffic up at the corner, so he's now towing it in.
Heaps of time starting to fly onto the board. Fastest, like so far, is Blake Urquhart. He's done a 1:37.3, so a tenth quicker than Beacock. We've got Daniel Gomes so far, currently sitting third with a 1:37.7. And Jason Schooler with a 1:37.8.
Try and jump on board for a hot lap around in a moment once we can catch a driver that's gearing up to commence a lap.
Looks like Robbie Bradbury's about to start a lap.
There we go, we'll jump on. Yes, he is going down pit lane.
Better find him. Where is he? Looking for him on list. Oh, I need to drop
We've
down
just
the
jinxed him.
numbers.
He's just decided to park there up.
Oh, how rude.
Oh,
I couldn't
big
find him
blink
in
for
driver's
Daniel Gomes then. He actually just dropped out completely. There we go, Beacott starting a lap right now. So we'll jump on board with him. That's this pole as well, so hopefully he doesn't park it up after setting that lap. A nice, yeah, he's going to as well. Commentator's curse here. Anyway, we'll get to a cold one with Daniel Combs as he's just coming out of pit exit. So deja vu, round through turn one again. Just a lot of throttle work in those first few corners, and he runs off a little wide, but that's alright, it's not a timed lap. And a big right-hander going up the hill, trying to nail this corner, can really have a great advantage to get that run going up the hill. So they lose a lot of power as they fly up through this sector.
Don't know if he made a mistake there or if he was just letting old mate front through, but looked like he did overshoot that corner a fair bit. I haven't actually watched an onboard lap with these cars around this track, so it'll be interesting to see how different it is from other cars I've seen.
Yeah, definitely probably some different lines to try and take, just those braking markers as well, just to try and compensate for that front wheel drive.
Another thing about these cars, they're a lot more forgiving over curbs, so you can jump into cars like the Skip Barber, you can't really hit any of the curves because it just tries to fling you out sideways, so these ones they're taking a lot more curb than I'm used to seeing.
And they're definitely showing that last week at Charlotte. They were taking those sausage curves through the chicanes and throwing the car up on two wheels. It was some rather aggressive bouncing. He gets a pretty good run through that last corner. It's going to give him a good amount of speed to commence this first timed lap for him.
Might have a bit of a run on the straight too behind this guy. Looks like he breaks under the bridge, turns it in really early. Only takes it out to about blink. Takes it right to the edge of the track and late apex of the corner there, flow it out to the outside curb. Bit of an easy turn that one, foot flat, in through these little windy S-bend bits and then brake just after the 100 board, turn it in really early. Stick with the curb the entire way out and then flow it right out to the outside of the track. Or I normally try and flow it out to the outside of the track. He didn't quite go that far out. He's got a nice run on the straight. Trying to go for a pass. That was interesting. Just compromised his run, that one. So I don't know if he was just trying to back off a little bit to give him a bit of space, but I didn't expect that.
Looks like he's got a bit of blinking going on from the car ahead too, so could be a little bit cautious. And there's only, looks like 4 drivers to set a time. Daniel Winrow, Stephen Banks, Oliver Patterson and Shane Patterson. Beacott still holds pole. There's a minute 40 left on the clock. He's the only driver to get a 1 minute 36 in again. Well, we saw 2 drivers in the 36 in practice.
No, Blake Urquhart's got a 136. Blake Urquhart's done a 136.58 to Beacott's 136.54.
That's alright, he's managed to get that in. I'm only seeing a 137 flat.
Are you looking at his practice time?
No, in qualifying.
Ah. I see Urquhart did a 137 flat practice, but qualifying on the results screen, I've mine's saying he's done a 36.5. The next drive is Bradbury though with a 137 flat.
Yes, that's what I'm seeing there, so that's good. 40 seconds left. 2 drivers to get a time in.
See if anyone looks like they're improving on their time. Not totally sure. I can't really see anything. See if the leaderboard changes at all with 15 seconds left on the clock. 15 seconds left to cross the start line, I should say. So once you cross that start line, you can put another lap in, but not if you've gone above that 15 seconds, which is now 2, 1, and that's the final time. So now you've got to finish whatever lap you've just started.
It's now or never.
It's interesting with this track how you can see the rear brakes glowing instead of the front brakes.
Yeah, it is. Even while they actually don't appear to be braking, they seem to be glowing a little.
Unless they're just not cooling down.
Could very well be. Some drivers practicing that pit entrance.
Got a couple more into the 36s now. Robbie Bradbury's done a 36.7, followed by, oh, I'm going to embarrass myself here. I'm not sure how to pronounce that. Do you pronounce it Cherokee?
Jarecki, I think.
Jarecki. Adam Jarecki's done a 136.9.
Looks like all final laps now done. So we'll get ready to load up and check out these qualifying results as the last driver's crossing the lines now. And there we have our qualifying results up with Cameron Veacock taking the pole with a 136.5. Not far off also in the 136.5. And the rest of the standings for the grid we'll have is Robbie Bradbury, Adam Jarecki, Harkin Chetton, Mark Cochran, Stephen Banks, Damon Cross, Dan Bartosh, Damien Cairns, Daniel Games, Duncan McCrosty, Andrew Ritchie, Sam Tucker, Jason Schooler, Russell Gander, Michael Brennan, Lucas Burt, Jonathan Gallen, Philip Buckland. And we have Dan Winrow, Lee Davies, Dave Jansen, and Oliver Pattinson and Shane Patterson not getting a time on the board.
I don't know if that was just caught in traffic or if he was spinning, but it's a bit of a shame. Oliver might be spewing because he finished 4th last race, so to be right at the back end of the pack, he's not going to be happy with himself.
Yeah, and he did get caught in that spin in the opening lap and then made a little bit of contact and then brought it in, so maybe having a little bit of dramas with the car once he got into the qualifying. Hopefully he can have a bit more luck in the race, but it is going to see him start from the back end.
Right, qualifying now over. We're into the race loading screen. Waiting for all the drivers to grid up. There's only one person on the grid so far, so I know now there's 3. Here we go. Now they're starting to come in.
Yeah, they're all gearing up now.
A lot of people on the radio chat admiring each other's paintwork. Bit of compliments going on all around the field.
That's the way.
Not far off having a full field in it now. Just waiting on a couple of people to jump back in.
And hey, Steph, thanks for jumping on the stream.
I think Blake was just watching the stream.
Yeah, he did just put in there, said that he stuffed up his last lap. There's 2 drivers to grid up now, waiting on Banks and Patterson. Patterson to go now.
There we go. No, that wasn't Patterson. I'm looking at someone. It must be him blinking.
Thanks, Steph. I am starting to feel a lot better. There's
G'day,
a
Steph.
couple are blinking in.
Wonder how that'll go this race. Might cause a bit of trouble. It looks like he's just joined in now.
There we go. So we've got the countdown now.
As the revs rise, not entirely sure how they start the cars, but the revs are up anyway. And they've put the foot down, so, cracker start.
Fair bit of movement throughout the pack for the start, but look at Vcop absolutely fly away. Nailed that launch.
Bit of congestion in the back of the pack, bit of smoke going on, locked up.
Too wide for most of turn 2.
Vcop's got a bit of a run now though, so he's got a fair gap going. Nice bit of buffer to start off the race.
Looks like a good clean getaway too, not registering any incidents at all.
We want a safety car, come on.
Was it a car off? I think that was Daniel Gomes. He ran off wide, but he managed to bring the car back on. That big lead Vcott got's already dwindling down. Urquhart's quickly closing in.
Might have got a bit of practice in this time.
Yeah, that's right. He just jumped on. No practice. He might have been keen for it.
They were still going too wide through the back. Oh, there's nearly an incident.
Looks like a little bit of contact. Bit of rubbing.
The green and black Nvidia car's got a bit of damage on the front left hand side. So he's had a bit of contact with someone.
He's going into the pits. That's going to be costly because he's going to have to make another stop to be able to last out for fuel.
I bet he's hoping for a safety car. That'll play right into his hands. Seems like a really tame opening lap though.
Yeah, it's been very tight. If that many cars, just how tight Okayama is and rather quick.
Yeah, 100%. Expected it to be chaos. Oh, the 412, I can't see where that is.
Schooler.
That'd be
412.
KFC cars. Looked like he was making a bit of dive up the inside, but he narrowly avoided contact to the back of the car in front. He's going up for another dive. That's my screen.
Oh, there's some contact just up ahead.
Another one of the KFC cars. Missing a bonnet. Who's that?
Damon Cross may have been caught up in it. Fair bit of screeching going on.
Stephen
School are having some dramas still.
Another KFC car off. Oh, they're dropping like flies. Yeah, it was School that just went right widening the tyre barrier there, but didn't look too bad for a moment. Contact! Who's that? Jonathan Gallant. Just spun around.
Quick recovery.
Oh, that was... Doesn't look like it's too bad, so we might have got lucky out of that situation.
Yeah, car doesn't appear to be too damaged. Dan Winrose going into the pits.
First mobile car looked like it's got a bit of damage on the front end. Oh, it's a real shame. Heap of damage at the rear of the pack.
I think Robbie Bradbury's just had a spin as well. He's trying to get that car in. Trying to turn these things around. The turning circle on these are absolutely shocking. Try not to back out onto that racing line.
You can't really clutch flick these either because they're front wheel drive, so your best bet is to do it in reverse if you know how to, but it's pretty difficult front wheel drive to turn it around.
For all that unfolding, Urquhart still being able to hold that gap. He's half a second away.
There's a fair bit of damage in the rear end of the field. Shane Patterson's got front end rear damage.
Yeah, that car's in real bad shape.
Dave Jensen's missing a bonnet. His front bumper's looking like it's gone 3 ways to Sunday. For the missed Apex racing car. Looks like he definitely missed the Apex on that one.
Yeah. Oliver Patterson's managed to climb up a fair few spots considering he started at the back of the field, but he is wearing a lot of damage.
Robbie Bradbury's trying to go too wide through. He's trying to pass. Who's that with him?
Trying to recover some spots after that spin.
Just made it up the inside of Lee Davies.
Well, I think Andrew Ritchie's just had an incident and towing the car.
Lee Davies is swerving up the straight. Don't know what he's doing there, if he's trying to warm the tyres or actually block, but that doesn't look like it was very nice. You got Patterson starting closing on the rear of him though, so he's looking like he's in a bit of rough shape.
No, Ritchie is still back in, so it must have just been a real big blink out.
Yeah, drivers are starting to complain about, I was going to say drivers are starting to complain on the radio about blinking, but we've just had, I think that was Davies just spun. Looks like the cars are really set up to oversteer on this. They're a lot of struggling with sliding at the moment. A lot of people are struggling with understeer at Charlotte, but it's loose in the rear here.
You can see them in those sharper corners. It is really oversteering a lot more.
Sort of makes sense for people to drift on this. This is a big track for drifting in Japan.
That it is.
A lot of racing categories actually use this track in Japan. Used to host a fair few international races. It hosted Formula 1 at some stage. Doesn't really do that anymore though. It just hosts it does still host a variety of top Japanese racing series though. Like the Super Taikyu series, which is made up of cars like your GT3, GT4 and DCR cars. It's a big endurance category in Japan. They also host Super GT series, Formula Nippon, which is their open wheelers, and the All Japan Road Racing Championship, which is the motorbike races.
Well, then we got a move being made by Urquhart. Tucked in the slipstream. Gets him at the hairpin, but Veacock's going to try and have another dig.
I love watching racing between these two. About a cigarette paper between their rear bumpers at the moment.
You can hear a bit of a crunch behind. There's a car off track, not sure who that is. I think it may be a car currently down a lap.
Still going at it.
Off the side of the track at the moment.
Oh!
Veacock's going to try and get him on the straight.
See if he can stick it around the
I don't
outside.
think he's going to have enough pace to hold it. He's going to have to really push his way in.
Drops him behind still. Urquhart stays in front. It's really healthy battle between these two at the moment. Just watched them in the back part of the track and they were quite literally bumper to bumper. Looks like he's catching him during the S-Bends part of the track too. See if he goes for a dive at the inside. No, he keeps it in behind.
There's even a battle for position 3 between Chetton and Jarecki as well.
No, it doesn't look like he's far enough up Veacock to make a move. He just keeps in behind him for now. But it looks like he gained a fair bit on him during the slow part of the track in the last lap too, so we'll see how much difference that'll make for it this time.
Veacock may also look at trying to conserve a little bit. Pits in previous series has usually been a forte for him. It's been a bit of a nemesis for him as of late.
Look like he's gotten a lot closer in that back part of the track. He's coming up 4/10 of a second off him at the moment, so he's not quite as close as he was last lap, but still looks like he's trying to line up a move on him.
Chetton was looking at making a pass on Jarecki. He wasn't close enough to be able to commit to a turn 1 pass.
Bit of battle going on with Damien Cross too. Cross and Burt. They're bumper to bumper now.
Not much room there. We'll swing out.
Oh, what's going to happen here? Oh, I thought there was going to be
nose in.
That one. That looked really dodgy. Nah, the gap's just gone back out a little bit too, so he's giving him a little bit of a buffer. Couldn't quite stick it up the inside there. Whoa! Never mind.
Side by side. Between Acrosty and Brennan. Fair bit of blinking going on. Coming down into the more technical section, too wide. Brennan gets the pass on Acrosty.
While missing the apex with the missed apex racing car. Looks like he's made it stick this time though.
There's been a mistake for Urquhart. He's dropped down into 4th position, so Vcock's got the lead again.
Let's see what happened there. That's not like Urquhart.
So we have Jarecki in 2nd, Chetton in 3rd. These two are still duking it out.
Looks like Urquhart dropped the wheel on the grass. So he's going in the braking zone in the back section of the track and just dropped his rear wheel on the grass as he put his foot on the brakes and sent him sideways.
So didn't mess up too much. It is recoverable. Wouldn't be surprised if he decides to pit in this lap. Use that slower lap, possibly just to come in and grab that fuel and see how things go.
Hopefully that'll put him into clear air too. But the other thing with pitting early is you don't want to pit before all the traffic and get stuck either. So if he pits now and gets stuck behind traffic and has to weave his way through, right, they're not lap traffic, so he's got to pass them legitimately. There's no blue flags to tell him to get out of the road. So he's definitely got to make his strategy decisions wisely here. Not actually a huge gap between the top 5 at the moment. It's 6.8 seconds at the moment between 1st and 5th, between Vcock and Cairns.
Even previous laps for the first 3, all in the 1:37s. So keeping some pretty good pace.
The last lap, Urquhart was only a 10th off Vcock's pace, so he's still foot down. He's definitely not backing off at all. Looks like he just had a bit of a lock up there though, went slightly wide under the brakes. He'll be happy watching the guys in front though, because they're having a paddle too. He's going up the inside. Who's that? Jarecki, up the inside of seat. Sorry if I'm mispronouncing that, by the way. Chet.
Yeah, Chetton, I think it is. I think I didn't get corrected after last week, so I must have got it correct finally. Took me a fair few goes, so I do apologise to Hagen.
Sorry, mate.
Hey Mick, thanks for jumping on the stream.
Looks like he's within a decent distance to get a bit of a toe off him off the straight too, so that'll definitely help him get closer. His pace is tapering off a little bit though. So it was 5.2 seconds the lap before, and now it's out to 6.2.
Cochrane and Schooler duking it out for position 11. Looks like lap car Daniel Gomes carrying more pace than the two, and he's trying to get around while these two are fighting it out.
Well, he got a decent qualifying timing, didn't he? He qualified in P11, so he's currently fighting for P24, I believe, because he had the shunt in the opening lap.
Yeah. The incident costing him his good run, running off from the practice and quali.
Here's a stunning looking car though, with the NVIDIA livery on it. Oh, that
Cross
was
is
close.
closing up on Gallant for P13. Gets up alongside. Gallant fight him. He's going to have the advantage for the inside lineup here, but it is a very sharp hairpin. Right-hander, it's not quite a hairpin, it's almost.
Just an update on Goins before too. He's gone past both of them now. Had a bit of a battle and both went wide. He used that opportunity to sneak up through. Looks like Damien Cross just feeding in, not feeding in, putting his car in the mirrors of the Gallant car, Pepsi Max entry.
He's getting that
Letting
nose right up close.
Not using all the track though, which I've just noticed. He could be out a little bit closer to that white line, but being that he's just come from Project Cars, which is a very different field to iRacing, it's still really impressive to see how he's doing. He's currently sitting 14th. 13th, I should say, Gallant, that is. Still holding off Damien Cross.
There's a car just ahead of him. There must be a lapped car. I think that's Davies' car.
Nah, it's Minro. So it is a lap car. It's the number 20.
Minro, yes. So
It's
he moves aside for him.
P25.
Lets them through as they're side by side.
His defence game is on par.
This is where
He
Cross
grabs
had to
one.
go. He gets him here. That sharp right.
Really healthy battle between these two. Didn't look like there was at least minimal contact, if any at all, during the entire battle there. Really good to see. Good gamesmanship going on across the entire field. Blake Urquhart's in the pits.
This is the first of the front runners to pit in, and we are just on approach to the halfway point.
So we'll see where that puts him out, whether it puts him out in traffic or if he has a bit of clean air where he can put down some decent times and try and get the undercut benefit.
Interesting. Looks like Banks has had 2 pits already, so he's been in and snuck in for some fuel after tending to that damage early on. And he's only 55 seconds away from the front, so he may be able to recover a bit.
Like Urquhart's still in the pits. Currently dropped down to 16th in the order, 17th now in the order so far. He's taking on APE fuel again.
And the additional fuel for Urquhart last week cost him a fair bit of time.
He's only just exiting pits now.
That's seen him drop down to 18th. 45.2 seconds stop. It's going to be rather interesting what the stop has done.
Just going up the inside of Lee Davies. Bit of a slow cut That's really interesting. I don't know if he's taken on a lot more fuel than he should have again. Did you say, because Banks come into the pits right at the start, so he's had to take 2 pit stops, and he's still out in front of.
Yeah, that second stop for Banks, 24 seconds. So if he's coming for fuel, that's been a real splash and dash. Gaki Chan, thanks for jumping on the stream.
I don't know where this will put him. That might have put him out of contention, depending on how long everyone else takes. Have you got a rough time for the other people's pit stops on your screen?
Yeah, it's averaging between 25 seconds through to about 36 seconds. So it's quite a lengthy stop for Urquhart. Yeah, it's gonna.
But you won't be in contention here.
So Damien Cairns coming in and grabbing his fuel. It was a 40-second stop. He's in 13th. That puts him nearly 5 seconds ahead of Urquhart. So they're racing for position if they've got enough fuel to last out. That sees Banks up into 11th. And then all the cars ahead, not yet pitting. Considering he got tangled up in that early stuff, if he doesn't need to make another stop, he's going to be shooting all the way to the front.
Top 5 are in by the looks of it. So we've got Veacock, Chet,
Tucker, Dartish. Yes, they're all in. Mass peel in.
I'm going to embarrass myself a lot tonight with these names.
Cochrane coming in and Cross. Look at them all diving into the pits.
Has
on
he
lap 12.
Nah, not by the looks of it. He's just gone up to the lead, so he's just done a 1:39.3, so that's still a couple of seconds off the leader's pace.
Probably a good idea, just the amount of traffic going in there to stay out there for another lap and enjoy a lead lap as well while you can take the opportunity.
Put him in a bit of clean air. Clean air does you a bit of good all the time.
Yeah, Banks moved up to P3. Could this pit strategy he's done end up seeing him on podium?
Don't know what's happening with Urquhart. It looks like he's probably 20 seconds off Banks.
Yeah, it is about 20 seconds. That's about the difference in the pit stop. So it's cost him.
I'm going to go back and have a look at that pit stop. Something must have happened. That's not right.
Even longer stop for Veacock, 50.8 seconds.
Oh my god.
So interesting. So could these shorter stops actually end up costing the other drivers?
And that's only put him 3 seconds off Urquhart. So those two might still have a championship battle on their hands. I think Urquhart
a little bit shaky between Veacock and Cochrane. Oh, too wide. Under braking, Cochrane's car got a little bit unstable. In comes Gallen now, after leading for that lap.
Has Cochrane pitted?
Yeah, he has pit, 18.7 seconds, very quick stop.
So I wonder why there's... Oh no, he's come back in. So he might have had damage. He might have
had a very early stop, yeah. So that's his race leader, Stephen Banks.
Oh, he'll be stoked at that.
Cairns P2. Peacock hop in P3. Urquhart's managed to recover up to 4th. Sorry?
Cairns was running P5 just before he pitted.
He was. He has done a pit, 39.2 seconds.
So I wonder what's happened with those front boards. I can go back and watch.
Looks like Gomes has retired. And had much luck after that cracker run in practice and qualifying. Take a look at the standings at the moment with Gomes retiring out. He's in P25. Winrow's 24th. Davies 23rd. Shane Patterson 22nd.
Urquhart put on a set of tyres.
Very
He
interesting.
might have forgot to deselect them.
Could have been. It's too late once you've got that car jacked up and they're doing the job. Or at least if you're taking on too much fuel, you can just uncheck that box and take off out of the pits. We got the 20th. He's duking it out with Jansen in position 19.
Doesn't look like Vigok took on any fuel though, so... Oh, on any tyres I should say, sorry.
And he had that very long stop, 50.8 seconds.
They might have taken full fuel.
I wonder if that will actually hold out. Wouldn't be surprised if they need to take on another full tank at that point. I know Banks has had to re-pit. So that's seen him drop down in the 16th.
What was that pit time?
34.1. So that's likely a load of fuel. He may have had a couple of damages. He had the 10-2 in those first two stops.
Yeah, he must have.
Just took a little bit of a splash. So
Oh,
he's 16th, Bradbury 15th. He's only just ahead now.
Side by side between McCrosty and Brennan. And it looked like McCrosty.
These two have been battling it out for most of the night as well.
Yeah, it's been really good watching these two. Currently sitting 11th and 12th. Looks like they fixed the damage on their cars this time, so hopefully they won't crash into each other.
Yeah, he was. I think he was missing the whole bonnet after the first amount of damage.
Yeah, he definitely was.
It's Oliver Patterson in 14th. Cross 13th. Brennan and McCrosty 12th and 11th.
Cross is going up the inside for a dive. Maybe. Unless he's letting cars past. That's probably what he's doing.
Yeah, I think he's letting the traffic on through. Bartish P10. Ritchie right in front of him.
Banks is starting to fill the mirrors at Bradbury. Right on his tail now, so taking absolutely everything out of the track limit. Oh, he's missed the apex a little bit there.
Yeah, looked like a little bit of understeer for Bradbury. It's going to cost him a heap of pace through that corner. Yeah, look at Banks.
He's got to run.
Shooting out. He's going to be able to commit to this corner up here. No dramas. Get him in the braking zone.
Oh, it'll be close. He's still behind him at the
Is
moment.
he going to yield?
Oh, good gamesmanship between these two boys. They're still running side by side.
Oh, that is close. I'm not sure if it was a little scrape or not. Banks runs wide. Gets the pass.
Looked like he hit the curb there too, so I don't know if he was run out of room or if he was just trying to avoid him.
Gallen just sitting back watching these two duke it out, probably just hoping that they'll take each other out and he can fly on through.
He'll be loving watching this at the moment.
Bartish looks like he's going to have a dig down pit straight. He's carrying a heap of speed. Not enough to get in there. Powered on with a lot more speed. Oh, then there's a mistake by Ritchie. Dive straight out of turn one.
Yeah, it's given him a bit of a gap, hasn't it? Bit of an easy overtake on that one.
And a little bit of breathing room for Bartosz now. And up in P8 we have Sam Tucker. He's got a nice little gap. Just driving on his own. Schooler and Gander fighting it out. P6. Schooler gets the move.
There they are.
So Gander in at P7. Schooler 6. Drecky P5. Chetton in at P4. He's having a lot better luck in the run tonight. He ended up retiring last week after a bit of bad luck. Vcox P3.
The gap's coming down pretty quickly. Urquhart to Cairns. Just have a look at their lap times for a second. So Cairns' best
nearly
lap
a
time in
second
the
quicker
session
that
is the
previous.
Cairns' best lap time in the session is 1:37.1, compared to Urquhart's best of 1:36.5. So his last lap was 1:38.5 compared to Urquhart's 1:37.7. So he's closing it quick. Vcock's done a 1:38.5 though. Looks like he might just be starting to taper. Oh no, last lap was the one they were battling, wasn't it?
Yeah. A little bit off in pace for that one, but definitely closing in still. There's 8 minutes left. 18 laps done so far.
Even with that battling though, I think they still look like Urquhart's time still looks like one of the fastest times out of the last lap. I think it is the fastest time out of the last lap. No, it's not. Chetton.
Yeah, 1:37.2. Looks like he's quickly closing in on Vcock.
Something must have happened to Vcock. That gap's opened up heaps now.
Oh,
Russell
he
Ganders in the pits.
left an opportunity open. Check with the taking, looked like a little bit understeer, pushed out. Chetton's going to have another go. Vcock's way off pace here. Chetton's going to easily get him through this big right-hander. Powers through, what a pass.
Might have taken on a heap of fuel, Vcock. So it looks like it's starting to struggle there. That's taking him off the podium. Still fighting it though. He's
swung
still
out
trying to hang up
offline.
there.
He was contemplating trying to get him in the braking zone. He was a little bit too far back, so that swing out cost him some pace.
Just definitely keeping pressure on though, trying to fill the mirrors, make sure Chetton knows he's still there. Gap's gone out to 7/10 of a second by the look of it.
Urquhart's quickly closing in on Cairns now. It's down to 3.2 seconds.
Oh, might be a couple final lap battle here. Might just make it. Let's see what their last lap time was. Urquhart did a 37.6 compared to Cairns
38.5. He's
That
going
was
to rein him
9
in
tenths
very quickly. Nearly gained half a second on him just already. So it's down to 2.7 now. Urquhart's on fire.
A minute and a half lap time, that gives them about maybe 3 or 4 laps left to go. So he'll be closing in right on the end of the. He might close in on the last lap and try and put a pass on.
That's going to make it very exciting to try and see him score the win. If this pace keeps up, he may even have him within the next lap or so. Especially if Cairns is starting to look at that timing and seeing that gap quickly close in.
He's got Philip Buckland between them though, so I don't know how quick he'll jump out of the road if he sees Urquhart or not. The gap's currently 2 seconds between Cairns and Urquhart. And falling fast. So tyre deg might be an issue in this. Did Urquhart make the right call putting on a set of tyres?
Could very well be. It's the amount of pace that he's getting out of this car at the moment.
Buckland's just let him go, but that was on a really high speed corner, so he's lost a little bit of pace there.
Held up a little bit with lap traffic. Cairns well within sight, and he's in that slipstream as well, so he's going to be closing in very quickly now. With no traffic between them.
There's about 3 laps left to go, so if Cairns is good on the defence, he might be able to hold him off a little bit. But it'll be bloody close. Yep, my screen showing it's down to 1.6 now. Now 1.5. Well, he looked like he might have missed the apex. Urquhart might have missed the apex there a little bit, so the gap's gone out a little bit, but it's still fallen quick. Doesn't look like there's anyone between them now.
A three-way battle for position 10. Actually even closer, pretty much P8 all the way through to P12. A second difference between them all.
We're going too wide. Who's that?
It's like Banks being passed by McCrosty.
A lot more damage than we last saw. Looks like he's having a rough race.
Switch back. Banks gets him back.
It'll be interesting to see if that affects his straight line speed at all, that amount of damage. I'm going to jump on board with him, see what his steering wheel looks like. See if his steering's out of whack at all.
Oh, a tap.
Oh, this is cool. The gap Urquhart to Cairns is out to 1.6 still, so didn't gain much in that final bit.
Oh, close again. Only giving another tap to Bartish.
Getting a bit of side draft going, so he's gaining a little bit on the straight, but he's not gaining an awful lot. It goes up the inside though, so
gets him in turn one.
Done. Using all the track limits there. Tyres are screeching in protest. They're not liking him right now, but he's saying he doesn't care.
That gap now for the race lead, under a second.
There's 2 minutes left to go on the clock.
So only 1 to 2 laps left in it. Urquhart breathing down the neck of Cairns. Can he hold him off for these laps and get the win?
Cairns taking an interesting line through there. He took a really late apex to that corner. Hits the apex nicely there, Urquhart. Gets a nice run on the straight. Still gaining a little bit on the straight. Say a little bit. That's going a lot quicker now. He's right on the back of him. He might have... Oh,
so there's only a minute 6 left on the clock, so this will be final lap now.
He'll be desperate then. He's got 3 tenths between him now. See how they go in this race. He's only might make a dive bomb. No, he's a bit far back for that. He must have been turning very well, Urquhart's car, because he was first for that corner. Oh, he might be a little bit too far away.
Yeah, he's not close enough to be able to commit.
Oh,
he's going to go.
Oh,
Contact between the two.
Oh, what'll happen now? Does he redress? He does redress.
That brings a big opportunity for Chetan. He's sneaking in.
Oh, he's slide. Oh,
Oh,
oh
rubbing.
no! Oh, this is great.
What a fight for the
Let's
finish.
up the inside.
Oh, a freeway dive.
Oh my god.
Bumping galore.
They're insulting each
Oh,
other
and
on
there's
the
a
radio.
big hit.
Oh my
Can
god!
straight up the tail.
Oh my
What
god. I'm
a
really
way to
laughing
finish it.
about this.
No. This could be costly for them as well.
I don't know whether that'll
Chetan's
head out
taken
of penalty.
big damage.
Oh my god.
Urquhart manages to get through. What final lap madness going on there. That was fantastic to check out. Urquhart takes the win. Canton second. Veacock third.
Oh, they're all insulting each other on the radio.
Yeah, they wouldn't be too impressed with that fighting going on.
Urquhart's not happening. Not happy, not happening. Oh. I'm glad the radio's not being broadcast right now. Oh my god. What an exciting finish. I didn't even see what the podium was.
Cairns, Urquhart and Veacock.
In that order?
Urquhart got the
looks
win.
like he's won.
Yeah, so he's got the win.
Urquhart, Cairns, Veacock. I don't think there will be any burnouts tonight.
No.
Far
They're all
out.
jumping in and checking their replays just to see what was going on.
I might do the same thing, I reckon.
Nice drivers finishing up. Cochrane crossing the line. Shane Patterson.
That was a really late dive on Urquhart's part there too, so
A few
that
of the
started
drivers
everything off.
having some fun with the cars now. So we'll take a look at all the standings.
I don't know if Chetan's necessarily in the wrong here.
After 24 laps at Okayama, Blake Urquhart takes the win. Damien Cairns in position 2 and Cameron Veacock P3. And we've got Adam Durecki, Jason Schooler, Harkin Chetan, Sam Tucker, Stephen Banks, Damien Cross, Dan Bartish, Duncan McCrosty, Robbie Bradbury, Oliver Pattinson, Jonathan Gallen, Andrew Ritchie, Michael Brennan, Lucas Vert, Dave Jansen, Mark Cochrane, Shane Patterson, Philip Buckland, Russell Gander, Lee Davies. We have Dan Winrow and Daniel Gomes, who did end up retiring out. So we'll see if the guys are over in the channel so we can find out what was going on from how their race went. So we'll cross over into our podium drivers now. I've just lost the guys, bear with me. And congrats on the podium finish, guys. A little bit sketchy at the end.
Yeah, I got dive bombed and spun around. Then I had the car was pretty much damaged, so it was to stay on the track to even get it around was a hassle.
Yeah, sorry mate, I got completely black flag for that and I tried to give that race decision back to you.
Yeah, I couldn't drive the car, and when you guys got in that corner, it was just I couldn't do anything. I couldn't even hardly steer it.
Yeah, I was the same. I was
I
left
don't know
down.
who the other guy was, but yeah, he probably unlucky out of everyone.
Yeah, he drove in the back of me completely. Yeah, bit of a dirty racing tonight, but it is what it is. But yeah, sorry mate, and yeah, I don't know. Sorry on my end.
Interesting one to check out. It was pretty exciting watch to the finish. So
Oh,
I
don't
was
get me
trying-
wrong. I was fuel saving hard.
So was I. I had pretty much
Yeah.
that lap left where I could actually go for it and keep going.
Oh, I
But
still
other than that,
had.
that's why you were coming towards me because I had to just try and save a
Try
little
and
bit each
save
lap
it.
just to get that last lap, especially with the time because depending what time you get to the line, it's whether you need another lap.
Yeah,
So I was really trying to judge that too.
my overlay played up, and I could have stopped fuel saving 3 laps ago. But yeah, I don't know. One of the dirtiest races I had with that new guy. But yeah, nah, good racing to all the guys, and yeah, nah, it is what it is. Yeah, sorry about the fourth last corner, mate. Tried to give it back, but yeah.
Yeah, that's all good. If the car wasn't damaged, would have been alright, but
Yeah.
just, yeah. All good.
yeah, at least you managed to
All good.
still limp it home for the podium.
Yeah, I didn't think I was going to because it was pretty hard to drive, but yeah, no, managed to get it there even after I ran into the back of him. I thought, well, that's it. But you managed to limp home.
Yeah, it saved it in the long run. So yep, congrats to finish up with all that carnage in the last few corners. Could have gone much worse, and the seniors all start dropping off back towards that back end. So very well saved.
Yeah, no worries.
And congrats, Camp. Dropped back a little bit after the big lead at the start.
I think he's still muted.
No, he's still muted. He hasn't. Oh, sorry, that's my fault. I didn't unmute you, Camp. So
Nah, it's all good. I knew someone would eventually realise. Yeah, I'm not sure what happened. I was sitting in the pit lane, took my fuel on, and the fuel just stopped, and then it restarted again. So I'm not sure. It was really weird. I was sitting for stationary for another 6 seconds longer than I should have, because I had 4.5 litres of fuel over.
yeah, we're wondering why the longer pit stop.
Yeah, I generally don't know what happened. Nothing changed. Everything was set up on the way in. I think iRacing has just done iRacing things, and I literally watched my fuel. I was sitting with a fuel black box up, and it was filling, and then it stopped, and then it started filling again. And I'm looking at going, what is going on here? So then, yeah, I just got held up by a car that was. It came out in front of me, and then pitted on the very next lap and blocked me by like 3 or 4 seconds for that lap. So it was just, yeah, I don't know what was going on. The car felt really weird after the stop as well. It just didn't feel.
Feel
I
it
couldn't
all.
turn. I couldn't do anything.
I
Feel
thought
it all.
the same,
iRacing
because I only
gremlins.
the two front tyres, and I tell you what, it was as twitchy as anything.
Yeah, I got no idea. I couldn't even explain it. The car just felt like a completely different car.
Did even notice after a little while, it looked like the car's starting to oversteer quite a fair bit, which was a big difference to last week.
Yeah.
Tyres are getting hotter. Longer track. It's a bit more oversteer. It's gonna happen. After that spin I had, my tyres were done.
It was just odd. The car just felt completely different. Then took too much fuel, and yeah, it was just a matter of just saving it after that. And then, I saw all the confrontation going on in front. And next thing you know, I saw Damo. I was talking to him on the way coming down the main straight, and I'm like, mate, I'm not going to pass you. I'm just going to sit back and you can have the position. Because he was
mate.
after all that. Oh, look, he battled hard and I was struggling, so I'm not going to be the guy that comes along and steals a position for the sake of it.
Yeah, very courteous. Fantastic sportsmanship, guys.
Oh, that's it. That's racing. We're here for a bit of fun. We're here to have a good time, and that's what it's all about.
Very true. And it's a great race in the end. Just a little wild at the end, but yeah, it was great seeing his duke it out for all those laps. It was a very exciting race to check out. And then even the start of the race, he had a fantastic launch cam as well and pulled ahead, but then Blake quickly hunted you down.
Yeah, I'm not sure whether the boys did something to the setup. I was running baseline again, and I just could not get the power down coming out of that back corner. So I'm guessing you guys dropped some wing or did something because,
Baseline all the way, mate.
what's up?
Yeah.
Mine
Baseline
felt
all the
like
way.
I was down 4 or 5 k's an hour. I don't know what's going on, but it is what it is. When you do 10 laps in practice, that's about all I got.
Yeah. No, good battle at the start, mate. Until
Yeah, it was good fun.
Probably that I caught back up to you.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
dropped off a tyre, didn't you, Blake? and lost
Yeah,
that gap
Yeah.
closed in.
yeah, no, I'm quite surprised because Cameron had 7 seconds on me when I pitted, and I had a slowdown because I oversteered back onto the track and back into the pit, so I had like a 5-second slowdown. So, yeah, didn't practice that one, but we'll come back next week and see how we go with that.
That's it, and it's going to be even more technical with Summit Point as well. So a few less passing opportunities.
Yeah, that should be good.
Yeah, it'll be
Looking
good.
forward to it.
And good luck with it all next week, and then hopefully not as much carnage for the finish next week. But and being at Summit Point, it's going to be great seeing us duke it out with how it's gone so far for the series. So well done and good luck.
No worries. Thanks, JT.
Yeah.
Thanks, JT.
Alright, and thanks again, Ryan. We'll catch you again next week. Thanks for joining me alongside for round 2.
Yeah, thanks for having me, mate. I sort of struggled a little bit. I could stop thinking of things to say. So I'll find a few more notes for next week, and hopefully that'll be a bit better.
That's it. Thank you, and talk to you then.
Yeah, sounds good. See you, mate.
There we have our podium finishes with Blake Urquhart taking out the win for round 2, Damien Cairns in position 2, and Cameron Veacock in position 3. Next week we have round 3. We head to Summit Point Raceway in the short course variations. It's going to be very tight, very technical, and there's not going to be too many passing opportunities, so it could be quite chaotic. So it's going to be another fantastic race to see in these Kia Optimas. So if you're only just joining us for the first time, do hit that follow button so you can be notified when we go live. So we'll be back again next week, Monday night, 7:35 PM Australian Eastern Standard Time with round 3 of the Kia Optima Championship. And we've also got more racing coming up on Thursday night with Project Cars 2 in the Mustang Boss 302R Cup. So there's heaps to be able to see if racing is your thing. So thanks for tuning in, and I hope to see you trackside next time.